Hello and welcome back to the channel where flavor knows no borders. This is Foodaroundme.
Under the blazing midday sun of Saigon, somewhere on the sidewalk, you'll spot a tiny street stall, just a few low plastic stools, a small portable gas stove, and an irresistible aroma that makes passers-by stop in their tracks. This is crispy rice with quat, a dish that may look humble, yet holds the soul of southern Vietnamese cuisine. Here, crispy rice isn't the neat, round, packaged kind you find in supermarkets. It's made from golden, pan-fried rice sheets, cooked until perfectly crisp. Break one apart, and you'll hear that satisfying crack. The outer layer shatters, while the inside retains a chewy hint of freshly cooked rice. Vendors often stack these giant, brittle rice plates high in a basket, tempting you to grab one immediately. But the heart of this dish lies in the small bowl of quat. Fish sauce, sugar, black pepper, chili, and pork fat are simmered together until thick and glossy, with tiny dried shrimp and crunchy pork cracklings floating inside. As it bubbles, the fragrance of caramelized fish sauce, smoky sugar, and spicy pepper spreads through the street, drawing in even those who were just passing by. Eating it is a joy in itself. Break off a piece of crispy rice, dip it deep into the quat, let the sauce soak into the crunchy surface, then take a bite. Crispy, salty, sweet, spicy, rich, all hitting your palate at once. In Saigon, if you hear the rhythmic clack of a knife on a cutting board, mixed with the rich, creamy aroma of a brown, bubbling broth, chances are you've just passed a Banh Pho cart. This is a fascinating love child between the French baguette and Chinese-style pho lao, a culinary marriage arranged by colonial history and immigrant influence. Pho lao, at its core, is beef or pork, offal, marinated in 5-spice, then slowly braised in coconut milk and a blend of deeply aromatic Asian seasonings. The result, tender yet chewy sheets of tripe Banh tendon, coated in a rich, glossy sauce. Slip that into a crusty baguette, drizzle some of the sauce inside so the bread soaks it out, add fresh herbs and cucumber, and you've got a mouthful that can single-handedly destroy any diet plan. Now, picture bringing this to America. Banh Pho lao would become the Vietnamese beef offal sandwich. Sounds fancy. And a little shocking, fancy, because sandwich in the US evokes images of neat office lunches. Shocking, because offal, to many Westerners, is a word best reserved for pet food or survival times. In America, organ meat often carries the stigma of being lesser cuts, while in Vietnam, it's where cooking skill truly shines. What some in the West consider scraps, Vietnamese turn into a centerpiece, affordable, flavorful, and satisfying. If America prides itself on hot dogs and burgers, Saigon has its own street burger version, but instead of safe pho lao stew, the name alone feels like a slow romance between organ meat and spices. This isn't a quick bowl, eat now affair, it's a long, patient courtship. It begins with tripe, tendons, tongue, heart, meticulously cleaned, deodorized, and marinated in 5-spice, cinnamon, star anise, pepper, and garlic. Then, everything is lowered into a pot of creamy coconut milk to simmer. The aroma rises, sweet, rich, with a whisper of medicinal herbs, drifting down the alley. Time is the key. The heat must stay low, just enough to soften the tendons without losing their gentle chew, and to let the tripe soak in the seasonings without turning mushy. Every time the lid lifts, steam billows upward like ceremonial incense, stopping passers-by in their tracks for a deep, greedy inhale. In Vietnam, pho lao stew is living proof that patience and thrift can create a noble dish from what others might throw away. Perhaps that's why in Saigon, a pot of pho lao isn't just food. It's a testament to the Vietnamese genius for turning limitations into flavor and waiting into reward. Fried banana in An Giang, it might sound like a simple street snack, but in reality, it's a sweet, sizzling performance. Ripe Tofu bananas, soft yet intact, are pressed flat like an invitation to a world of irresistible aroma. The vendor dips them into a batter made from rice flour, wheat flour, coconut milk, and a sprinkle of sesame seeds, then drops them straight into a pot of bubbling oil. The sizzle crackles like fireworks at showtime. The bananas puff up, the batter turning golden brown and crispy. The rich scent of frying oil mingles with the natural sweetness of banana, wrapping the entire Jiang market corner in a delicious haze. The vendor flips each one with care, never rushing, ensuring a shatteringly crisp crust while keeping the inside warm and tender. In America, bananas often end up in green smoothies or artisan banana bread, the picture of a healthy lifestyle. In Vietnam, especially in Giang, they get a deep hole baptism, transforming into a street food delight that's wildly addictive. It's a cultural flip, same fruit, but one side whispers wellness, the other shouts indulgence, and honestly, in Giang, nobody's counting calories when biting into that crackling, golden slice. Street mango in Vietnam isn't the neatly plated, Instagram-perfect slices you see in fine dining. It's a whole different world of flavor and glorious chaos. On street carts, green mangoes are peeled on the spot, the vendor's knife moving fast and confident, like a performance in itself. The crisp, tangy slices are packed into a plastic bag, followed by the magic touch, a spoonful of fiery red chili salt, a sprinkle of golden sugar, sometimes even a dollop of thick, pungent shrimp paste. The rattling sound of mixing mango with the spices is oddly satisfying, and when you open the bag, the wave of sour, spicy, salty, and sweet aromas hits you all at once, like a dare to your taste buds. One bite in, the mango's sour punch floods your mouth with saliva, instantly chased by heat, salt, and sweetness in a dizzying rush. In the US, mango is usually ripe, golden, and sugary, a dessert or smoothie star. In Vietnam, green mango is a snack for thrill seekers, the sourer, the better. Street mango culture is the culture of flavor explosions, not for those seeking safe eating, but for those who want to taste life with their salivary glands in overdrive. Southern Vietnamese banh xeo isn't just food, it's a sizzling performance for the senses. On a blazing hot skillet, thin rice batter is poured in, erupting in that signature xeo sound that gives the dish its name. Fresh turmeric turns the crepe a golden yellow, while sizzling oil creates edges so thin and crisp they look like sunlight on a rice field. The filling is generous and bold, plump pink shrimp, tender slices of pork belly, crunchy bean sprouts, sometimes with creamy mung beans for an extra layer of comfort. When the crepe is folded in half, the brittle edges shatter, announcing a perfect banh xeo has just been born. Eating banh xeo means grabbing fresh greens, lettuce, herbs, mustard leaves, wrapping them around the crispy crepe, and dipping into sweet and sour fish sauce with fresh chili. The crunch, the richness, the refreshing greens, they collide into one joyful bite. Americans might call this a Vietnamese crispy pancake. In Saigon, among countless fancy cafes and restaurants, there are still humble little corners that surprise you, like the legendary 1000 VND instant noodle shop. Yes, you heard that right. For the price of a coin, you can sit down to a steaming hot bowl piled with eggs and beef balls. It sounds like a joke, but it's actually a unique slice of street culture. This isn't the plain instant noodles you make at home. The broth is rich and flavorful, slightly spicy, fragrant with fried shallots and freshly ground pepper. Whole boiled eggs or silky soft boiled ones float on top, glowing golden like tiny suns. The beef balls are big, springy, and soaked in broth. All of it steams gently over a worn stainless steel table that's seen years of late-night chatter. The magic here isn't just the low price, it's the feeling of stepping back into your broke but happy student days. People sit close, slurping and laughing, sweat beading on their foreheads from the heat. An American might ask, why call it 1000 VND when a full bowl costs more? But in Vietnam, that number is more of a playful promise that you'll leave with a full stomach, a happy heart, and a wallet that barely feels lighter. In the bustling alleyways of Saigon, there's one sound that will make anyone stop and look. The sizzling zio of rice flour cakes hitting hot oil. Here, the crispy Oyster rice cake stall doesn't need flashy signs. The aroma and the cheerful chatter of customers are its best advertisement. Golden square pieces of rice cake, crispy on the outside, yet chewy inside, are tossed continuously in a shiny black cast iron pan. Each clang of the spatula against the pan is like a drumroll announcing the dish's climax. Then, fresh oysters are added, their pearly flesh curling up, releasing a subtle ocean scent. The next peak, eggs, crack directly over the oysters and rice cakes. The yolk spills out, coating everything in golden silk. The smell at this moment is almost criminal, hijacking the senses of every passerby. A sprinkle of scallions, crunchy pickled vegetables, and a drizzle of sweet soy sauce complete the masterpiece. Americans often raise an eyebrow. Fried oyster with rice flour cake, is that even a thing? But to Saigon locals, it's nostalgia on a plate, a memory of evenings after school, pulling up a plastic chair at a roadside stall, sharing a hot plate of oyster rice cake with friends until time slipped away unnoticed. Oyster rice cake here is more than food. It's a story of how Saigon blends everything: humble rice flour, everyday eggs, and luxurious oysters from the sea. A city where street food can carry the breath of the ocean, right in the middle of the concrete jungle. On a scorching summer noon, when the asphalt feels hot enough to catch fire, the distant call of fresh tofu pudding here sounds like salvation. Tofu pudding, or tau phn, is so simple it feels humble, yet it can defeat both the he and even the pickiest hearts. A ladle scoops out silky smooth tofu pudding, each sheet as delicate as silk, gently sliding into the bowl. Then, golden ginger syrup is poured over, warm enough to make the tofu tremble. A few chewy tapioca pearls, a sprinkle of shredded coconut, and suddenly, a cool masterpiece is born. Americans often compare it to pudding or custard, but they don't realize that in Vietnam, this dish is a shared memory. It's the after-school moments, sitting under a shady tree with a bowl of tofu pudding, listening to cicadas sing. In Saigon, you can find hundreds of types of banh, but Mackerel banh has its own charm. Simple, yet deeply flavorful. A warm, crusty baguette is split open and stuffed with tender mackerel, braised in a sweet salty sauce infused with pepper and fried shallots. One bite, and you feel the crisp shell give way to rich, savory fish, mingling with golden, glossy sauce. Add cucumber slices, fresh herbs, and a touch of chili, and the flavors explode in your mouth. If Americans are used to the neat and polite tuna sandwich, the Mackerel banh is its streetwise cousin. Bold, bursting with flavor, and gloriously messy. It's not just a quick breakfast, it's part of the memory of early market mornings, when the scent of braised fish drifted through narrow alleys. If there's one dish in Saigon that is both humble and powerful, CMTM, broken rice, would definitely make the list. Not because it's expensive or fancy, but because it has the power to make anyone, from motorbike drivers and office workers to foreign tourists, stop in their tracks. CMTM is made from fractured rice grains, once considered scraps by farmers. But in Saigon, those humble grains are transformed into treasure. When cooked, they turn fluffy yet slightly sticky, carrying the aroma of freshly harvested rice. And then comes the magic, the toppings. A proper plate of CMTM features a golden, honey-glazed grilled pork chop, seared just enough to create a smoky edge. Alongside shredded pork skin tossed with roasted rice powder. A slice of moist, savory steamed egg meatloaf. And, of course, a sunny side-up egg with a runny yolk that melts into the sweet and sour fish sauce. The fish sauce here isn't aggressively salty. It's Saigon style, balanced with sweetness, just enough to coat the rice, with a hint of chili heat to wake up your senses. Fresh cucumber, tomatoes, and pickled vegetables cut through the richness, making each bite more addictive than the last. You don't just eat it with your mouth, you savor it with your eyes, your nose, and the pure joy of seeing a heaping plate arrive at your table. And here's the fun part. Many Saigon locals can eat CMTTN any time of the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, or even late at night after a few beers. Because in Saigon, CMTTN isn't just food. It's a way of life, abundant, generous, and never afraid to mix things up for the sake of flavor. There are mornings in Saigon and the sun hasn't yet dried the mist on the streets, but the aroma of Banh cho has already slipped into every alley. The sizzling sound of eggs hitting a hot cast iron pan, the rich aroma of melting butter blending with creamy pate, and the crisp crunch of bread being sliced. Together, they create a breakfast symphony you can only hear and taste in Vietnam. Banh cho isn't just food, it's a sensory performance. On a small cast iron skillet, you'll see golden fried eggs, glossy brown pate, tender pork meatballs, and fragrant sausages, all sizzling side by side. One bite, and you'll get the crunch of the bread, the creamy richness of pate, the chewiness of sausage, and the luscious yolk wrapping everything in harmony. Americans often look puzzled when they see it. For them, breakfast means cereal, pancakes, or bacon and eggs, neatly separated on a plate. But here, Vietnam throws everything into one sizzling pan, letting flavors mingle, letting oil and sauce bump into each other. They'll ask, why is everything mixed together? And the answer is simple, because we want to taste the whole morning in just one bite. Some say Banh cho reflects the Vietnamese spirit, compact, resourceful, but endlessly creative. It's not about luxury ingredients, but it offers a different kind of luxury, that warm, satisfying, slightly calorie-heavy comfort that fuels you for the day ahead. And here's the ironic twist. Banh cho, which looks like a Vietnamese fast food, is actually not fast at all. You wait for the eggs to cook just right, for the pate to heat through, for the meatballs to soak up the sauce. And most importantly, you eat slowly, dipping your bread in with deliberate care. So, despite being called a quick breakfast, it actually makes you slow down, even more than an iced coffee. In Vietnam, there's a street snack that warms your heart the moment you smell it: grilled sticky rice banana. A ripe chewy aspy banana is wrapped in chewy sticky rice, covered with banana leaves, and slowly grilled over glowing charcoal. The sweet aroma of banana, mingling with the smoky scent of toasted leaves and crisped rice, drifts down the alley. Rich coconut cream, and sprinkles golden toasted sesame seeds on top. Take a bite, and you'll feel the gentle crunch of the rice crust, then the soft, moist, naturally sweet banana inside. For many Americans, the idea of grilling a banana and drenching it in coconut cream sounds both strange and illogical, but in Vietnam, it's a beloved afternoon treat, cheap, comforting, and sweet enough to melt away the day's irritation. Grilled sticky rice banana isn't just a snack. It's a quiet reminder that happiness can be as simple as a banana, a bit of rice, and the time it takes to turn golden over charcoal. If Saigon had an A-list celebrity in the Banh world, it would be Hein Ho. This small shop on Le Thi Ring Street draws long lines every day from afternoon to night, just for a banh that costs 4 to 5 times more than usual. But don't think it's just a flashy gimmick. A Hein Ho banh weighs almost half a kilo, packed with 10 to 12 fillings, rich pate, cold cuts, Vietnamese pork roll, ham, char siu, butter, and crisp herbs. Each layer is stacked thick, pressed tightly so that when you bite, all the flavors explode at once: rich, savory, sweet, and deeply aromatic. For many Americans, Vietnamese banh mi is seen as a cheap sandwich, light, quick, and convenient. But Hein Ho is different. It's a declaration that banh mi can be luxurious and powerful, elevating street food into a high-end experience. Many foreign visitors have said, after eating it, it's not just delicious. It's too much. Yes, Hein Ho is like a rock concert played at full blast, thrilling, but so filling that you might just have to skip dinner. In the world of Asian street food, roast duck is the showstopper. Not just for its intoxicating aroma, but for that glistening mahogany red skin, hanging in rows behind glass like edible jewels. In Saigon, every roast duck shop is a mini-stage, and the stars, golden, plump ducks, are always ready to steal the show. The vendor skillfully takes one duck, lays it on the chopping board, and chops through with a satisfying crack. The skin is paper-thin and crisp, the fat glistens, and the meat is tender and juicy. Dip it lightly into the thick, glossy sauce, often made from honey, and a secret spice blend, and the flavor floods your mouth. If you're not careful, you might get hooked. Roast duck isn't just food, it's a seductive, fragrant temptation, and once you take that first bite, every diet plan you had is officially over.
If you've made it this far, maybe your curiosity isn't average. Maybe you don't just eat to survive, you eat to understand, so don't just scroll away. Drop a thought in the comments, something only you would say. Like this video if it sparked anything inside you. And hit subscribe, not for the algorithm, but for the next question you never knew you needed. Because here, we don't feed the masses, we feed the minds that wonder.